Is there an Islamophobic alliance between Israel and far-right Western governments?
Wenn wir uns an die Seite Israels stellen, verteidigen wir auch unsere Art zu leben und zu denken gegen einen politisierten Islam. Und das, meine Damen und Herren, ist ganz bestimmt deutsche Staatsräson. Ich bedanke mich.
A far-right government embraces ultranationalism, anti-immigration, and opposition to multiculturalism and liberal democracy. Historically, this has resulted in significant oppression, neo-Nazism, white supremacy, and entrenched anti-democratic sentiments. Backing Israel is frequently viewed as integral to a broader foreign policy aligned with the West, appealing to far-right parties that prioritize Western values. Far-right parties like Geert Wilders' Freedom Party, who tweeted this, quote, "After 20 years of protection, safe houses, 5 fatwas, thousands of death threats, and visiting many Islamic countries, I can say that Islam is a disgusting, reprehensible, violent, and hateful religion." See Israel as an ally combating radical Islam and terrorism, reflecting their domestic anti-Islam stance.
The brunt of this savagery is afflicted on Muslims right now. Millions have been displaced and hundreds of thousands butchered, so they have a pretty good idea of what they don't want. I actually think that sometimes in these kinds of battles, it's first of all important to win physically. Win. Fight. I mean, combating Nazism first involved beating Nazism. You know, you had denazification after you won. You have to win. It's very important not to allow these beasts the freedom to prowl, because what they're doing is they're emptying parts of the Middle East into Europe.
Following the refugee crisis in Europe, the reason I put it in quotation marks is because far-right parties in the West like to blame the crisis on the refugees, even though the main problem in the Netherlands, for example, is not the asylum seekers and the refugees, but the budget cuts that have created various crises, such as fewer reception places for asylum seekers and excessive work pressure on staff, leading to backlogs in the system. Right-wing parties have exploited domestic political uncertainty and economic anxiety.
Nogmaals, zij voeren, zoals ik al jaren roep, onze oorlog. Op het moment dat Israël valt door het islamitisch extremisme, is Europa en zijn wij de volgende.
To intensify their Islamophobic rhetoric.
Wat je ziet is dat veel asielmigranten komen uit landen met een islamitisch geloof. We weten dat daar jodenhaat onderdeel is bijna van de cultuur.
Resulting in perceiving Israel's war on Palestinians and regional adversaries as part of a broader resistance against Islamic influence. In 2021, the Israeli newspaper Israel Hayom interviewed Marcel Yaron Goldhammer, a German convert to Judaism and former Israeli soldier, who was a candidate for the far-right historically anti-Semitic party Alternative for Germany. He criticized the Muslim presence in Germany by comparing it to Israel, saying, quote, "It will be like it is in Israel, and we see what is happening there now." Under the Netanyahu administration, ultra-nationalists have eagerly allied themselves with openly anti-Semitic and Nazi-affiliated politicians, such as Austria's former vice-chancellor Heinz-Christian. Several far-right parties oppose EU consensus positions, including those critical of Israel. Supporting Israel is seen as means to assert national sovereignty in foreign policy. As Israel encounters growing criticism from liberal democracies, it has increasingly sought support from right-wing governments, fostering a mutual beneficial political relationship, especially when Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu formed a coalition with far-right parties in 2022. Many political parties in Europe that support Israel portray Israel as mono-ethnic and mono-faith, ignoring its diversity. For example, they overlook Ethiopian Jews and Palestinian Christians affected by Israeli policies. This reflects a selective view rather than reality, and this assists in ignoring human rights violations.
هذا مكان آمن، مكان للعبادة، بيوتهم انقصفت وناسهم ودورهم انقصفت، شردوا يحتموا في الكنيسة، هاي الكنيسة أكلتها هواية. طب إيش ذنبنا إحنا كمدنيين، إحنا كمسيحيين كمسلمين إيش ذنبنا؟
So, could the contemporary wave of support for Israel among the European far right primarily be a strategic move, serving their own racism and Islamophobia by allying with the cause of Europe's perceived ultimate victims, the Jews, while also concealing their own extensive track record of anti-Semitic rhetoric?